Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Ian Utilli. I'm one of the co-producers at NFT NYC, and I'm excited about this conversation with Peg from Fierce Studios. I had an amazing conversation this week with Michelle. Peg, thanks for joining me. Can you please introduce yourself to me, give me a little background on who you are and what you've done and why you've co-founded Fierce Studios with Michelle?
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited about this. So I'm Peg Samuel, Fierce Studios. My background is I actually have decades of experience in tech and then innovation technology, and I've been in the NFT space. I learned about NFTs and blockchain back in 2017. I actually am an early purchaser of like crypto kitties and crypto punks. That's how I learned how to use MetaMask and all the things.
Nice.
And I've actually, so this isn't my first NFT NYC. Actually, I did at least the 2021. And what's so amazing is like now everybody, and I could say everybody knows what NFT is, where
Right.
before it was like, what are you talking about, Peg? And I'd just be like,
That's right.
oh, it's just like a crypto nerdy thing.
That's fun. So when you think about Fierce Studios
hmm
and what you hope to accomplish there, can we talk a bit about community and
Yeah,
in your mind the importance of community from a human perspective and from a business perspective? Maybe you can give me some insights on how you view community development from those two
Yeah,
angles.
absolutely. This is a huge subject, and I could probably talk to you for a whole half hour about that. But just to hone it in down, like where Fear Studios comes in the niche within like the niche of NFTs is like fashion meets technology, and what can we do to expand upon it, innovate, make cool things, but also meet the community or even the crypto community where they're at. So there's these like different benchmarks around like what could we be producing as a company, but then back to the community. And so I'll give an example. Like we're doing a couple NFT drops coming up. I'm not sure if Michelle mentioned them, but what's really important about them, of course, like backtracking to when I first got into NFTs and years of moderating panels, I'd call it like art in the blockchain. So there's an art element to NFTs, but lately, which is a really cool phenomenon, is this, drop thing where it becomes community. You have this art or token, and then it becomes a piece of the community. And community is smart, they're fun, they're engaged, and they think about these things as businesses and as investments are a vehicle for investment.
Yeah, well, it's a completely different approach with it being a decentralized Web3
hmm
ecosystem.
hmm
How about technology, right? So
hmm
communities that maybe the biggest part, but still the platforms, the products, the projects still
Yeah.
require tech. And so what's the focus on tech for you and Michelle at Fear Studios?
Yeah, so tech's super interesting. So I give a couple. I remember even just when I met Michelle and we were in like all of these cool crypto conversations with people and like maybe even an echo chamber of crypto, right? Because like crypto for NFTs now, like the greater population knows NFTs, but who's buying these are people that are probably crypto native and understand the tech, the MetaMask, the steps, da 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 da. So I think the future of it probably is just the user interface. So twofold. I'll give two examples. I gave one the other day about Web3. It's like, where could this go? It's like, well, it could go so many steps beyond that we have no idea. Like, I will date myself by saying I bought my first like online plane ticket back in the 90s and they FedEx me the ticket. So that's not the case now, right?
Right.
I don't need to know all the tech that happened in between. There's probably some HTTP the coding, blah, 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 to my app and all of the stuff. Granted, as a company, we need to know a little bit more, but we have a really super smart dev team that can tell us like what's possible and how long and those kinds of things. But to bring others in or the fashion space in or just regular people that now are like, well, what's NFT? What should I do? The UI needs to be much easier for people. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes my other example will be like a WhatsApp. Like when I send, like I have WhatsApp, I send you a WhatsApp, I see the two blue check marks, you read it. That's all I need to know, right? Do
Right.
I need to know like all of this stuff under the hood? So Not really. So I think the general public right now is getting exposed to a little bit of everything,
Mm,
and fashion. To hone it into Fear Studios and fashion, like there's devs come with tech talk, and they're interested in all the things, but it's like having having the conversation, meeting the companies where they're at, and then saying, okay, well, part of it is just technical, but here's all the things we could potentially do with this mechanism today in the next 6 months. And then we're not sure yet
yes.
past
Well,
that.
I like to talk about the future, but I don't
Mhm.
expect anybody to be a prophet. Uh, but the way I think about the future is what would be a positive projection? What would be
Mhm.
a hopeful outcome that you'd love to see in the next couple of years? So I frame it this way. If I say
Mhm.
to you NFT 2024, what type of
Oh,
things would you love to see developed for you and your team at Fear Studios and for
yeah.
the industry at whole?
So I think for us and our team, like the furthest I've kind of thought and we've thought about is just things around, say, fashion weeks, and also globalization of being able to tune into content. And it's always been fun to be behind the scenes of anything. And then from a consumer oriented spot, it's this one-to-one with a wallet, whether it's the brand, whether it's us to each other at this like store of value thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're owning, say, a Fear Studios NFT, then is this your membership pass, if you will, to all these other partnerships that we come up with?
Hmm.
So that's one thing. And I mean, that I can only think 1 year into the future with that, right? If it's going more global into 2024, it's like, okay, data is such a huge part of all of this, and like
Yes.
owning our own data and actually being able to leverage our own data and attention to
Hmm.
where we can um, monetize it as people. And then the other piece I'll throw in here is just diversity.
Hmm.
Like bringing diversity in now. NFT community is the most amazing people that I've met, especially on Twitter. And I could talk about for an hour, of course, about like the the Ananon kind of, thing versus, saying who you are and your data and the friendliness and the inclusivity and feminist men and all of the great things that are going to change in, hopefully, the speed of technology. So
Hmm.
if we can even have some sort of diversity, if not equality, by 2024. I mean, that's probably lofty, but I'm here for it.
Yes, well, I fully support that. I'd love to
Yeah.
see that be a reality.
Yeah.
We do keep these short, so maybe a
Cool.
final word from you. Imagine if you have all the billboards in Times Square.
Oh my
You
gosh.
have everyone from NFT NYC looking at the billboards. What might a statement be that you'd like to leave people with?
We're early.
We
We're
are.
early. We're super early, and there's so much to come.
Mm,
So much, like stuff we haven't even thought of,
that's
which
so
is
good.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Well, for anybody watching us live or that sees this archive, thank you for your attention. I'll be back again with another one of these conversations very soon. And Peg, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you.
letting our community know a bit about you and Fierce